Welcome to the Style Thief Fashion Podcast. I'm so excited to be saying those words. I've wanted to do a podcast for so long, and I am launching it out into the world, and I am so ready to dive in to all of the style related conversations with you. We're going to talk about everything. We're going to have guests. We're going to dive in deep to larger social issues around fashion and style. I want to hear from you and what I can help you with on your style journey. First and foremost, I want you to know how grateful I am that you're here, whether you have come over through Instagram or some other avenue. I hope this is a space where you can just take some time for yourself to think about what your personal style is doing for you in the world. How do you want to show up differently? How can you carve out some time to be more intentional about getting dressed every day? Style is self-care. And I know that word gets thrown around a lot, self-care, and what does it mean? But I know the power that I feel when I feel good in what I'm wearing, and how when I can just focus on the really important work in my life, being a mom, being a wife, a friend, a member of my community, a personal stylist with my clients, I don't have to worry about what I'm wearing because I know it's for me, it suits me, it fits me, it feels good, and I can just move on with the rest of my day. Style should be a tool in all you want to accomplish in the world, and to be a tool in giving you the push that you might need right now to show up differently in the world. So as we set the foundation for what this podcast is all about, I think that we should start with why style thief fashion? That is probably the most common question I have gotten since I started my business 8 years ago and got on Instagram as Style Thief Fashion. People ask me all the time, where does that name come from? And really, what does it mean? And I want to start there because I think it's a really important piece of my own style journey, but I hope that what I share here inspires you to utilize some of these things on your own style journey. So Style Thief Fashion the name came about because really stealing outfits was how I approached my personal style for most of my life. That was how I discovered my own authentic personal style. It did not come from an inherent place. I do think that I've always gravitated toward loving style and fashion and getting dressed, but it was not like, oh, I just love clothes. That's not how this started. For me, it was a journey and it started when I was a kid, of having a style icon in my life, and that was my Aunt Rhonda. I didn't have an older sister growing up. So my aunt, Rhonda, who is 12 years older than me, was that older sister for me. So naturally, I adored her and I looked up to her and I wanted to do everything she was doing, including wearing what she was wearing. She was very, very stylish. And I'm saying was because she passed away 10 years ago. And when I think back to when I started this business, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was like, my friend John with Gunner and Lux. I don't know why I'm like being elusive about that. He's going to be on this show, and his daughter Riley. We're going to talk all about it. I have to give him so much credit for even like getting me out into the world, doing this styling business. But we were having a conversation, and he was like, well, you're starting this thing. You're going to be on Instagram. What are you going to call it? You can't just use your name. And I said, okay, well, I should just call myself Style Thief, because really what I've done my whole life was like, I would see an outfit on someone that I liked and I would just steal the outfit. And he was like, oh my God, that's it. So that's really where the name came from. Like, that is the story of how he and I came up with the name. Now, as I've gone on in my career and in my business, I have had moments where, and I've had people say to me, I feel like Style Thief Fashion doesn't fit you anymore, that you should go on and call yourself something different. I call my styling method the empowered style method. Maybe I should call this empowered style instead of Style Thief Fashion. But especially this year, and especially with the live show, and I'm gesturing behind me to this embroidered denim jacket that I wore the night of my live show, nothing nothing helped me embrace style thief fashion more than this year and writing my own story to tell on a stage for a live show about personal style. Because when you think about your personal style, no matter where you want it to go, no matter where it is, no matter where you want it to go, you naturally go back to the beginning. So for me, when I think about whose looks was I stealing first, it was my Aunt Rhonda. And I tell this story and I remember this so clearly. I kind of got some of her hand-me-downs from a very young age. She was in a sorority in college. I was in like the third grade, and I had no problem wearing sorority fraternity sweatshirts to elementary school. Like I specifically remember having a Fiji barn party 1987 sweatshirt that I wore to third grade. People were probably like, what the hell is this eight-year-old doing? But I felt so cool because that's what my aunt was wearing. So that's what I wanted to wear. So that was really my approach the rest of my life for my style up until the point where I turned 40, honestly. Stealing people's looks, in my mind, though, is still a really important part of the style discovery process. And you will hear me say this all the time. I say this to my clients. I say this to you on Instagram. If you don't know where you want your style to go, if it's not coming yet from within, you got to go find inspiration. So go to a magazine, go to an influencer, a movie star, a television show. Think back to one of your favorite outfits you wore in high school. How can you steal that and make it your own? Because we all know what happens when we see an outfit we like on someone. I'll use influencers as an example. I still do this too. And I know many of you have told me, I've sat with clients where they show me pictures of myself from Instagram. I really like this outfit. But when I tried it on, something didn't feel right. It didn't really feel like me. So the practice of stealing the style is just one step. It's just one piece. And if you, like me, were over and over again just trying to recreate a look that someone else wore and really owned and they rocked it, but when you put it on, something did not feel right, that is where the magic is. And that is what we're going to explore so much in this podcast. Where is the moment where you see the inspiration and you put it on, but then you tap into what would make it feel more like you? What about it is not really working? What is really working? So take away what's not and follow the path of what is. Let it get weird. Let it get weird. I can't wait to do a podcast episode on that phrase alone. So stealing looks from head to toe, you can do that. I did it for years. But at the end of the day, I got to the point where I realized that I was really just playing dress up by doing that. I wasn't really owning my style. And if there's anything that I wanted throughout this process, throughout my life, because I loved clothes and fashion so much, was my own unique point of view, was to really feel like I owned those looks and I owned my own style. So stealing and being a style thief really got me to that point, but it will only get you so far. So what I want you to think about when you see an outfit that you're inspired by and you see how much that person owns that look, try it on for yourself. I want you to do that. I want you to steal these looks, whether it's from me or someone else. But then I want you to stop and take a minute and think, where doesn't this feel like me? And change those elements until it really feels like you. And this may take hours. It might take days, months, years. Guess what? This is an ongoing process. This is not a destination. This is a journey. This is a project. This is something you're always going to be working on. So the stealing the looks, the style thief, being a style thief, I don't want that element to go away for me, and I don't want it to go away for you. But the real work and the real ownership comes beyond that point. So that's what this podcast will be all about. So you know a little bit more about where the name Style Thief comes from and how it began. But this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning for you. It's really just the beginning for me too. I can't wait to have more conversations with you. I can't wait to share more of my story, what my clients have experienced, bring in some of the women who inspire me in all different areas of my life to talk about how style isn't just about what we wear, but who we are. I'm so excited you're here. So get your Diet Coke and let's dive in.